You make $100,000 a year. Congratulations! You are statistically doing better than 82% of Americans. You're also broke. Not drama broke, not complaining broke. Mathematically, structurally, provably broke. Because that 100K in 2026, after taxes, after rent, after your car payment, after insurance, after subscriptions you forgot you had, you are living the exact lifestyle someone making $31,400 lived in 1996. This isn't a motivation problem. This isn't a mindset problem. This is a math problem. And today, we're doing the math.
Here's what I'm going to show you in the next 10 minutes. There are 3 hidden leaks in the 2026 economy, not hidden like conspiracy, hidden like fine print, that are specifically mathematically designed to keep your net worth hovering right around zero, no matter how hard you grind. Leak 1, the subscription prison. You think you own your life. You don't. You rent it, monthly, with auto-renewal. Leak 2, the inflation lag. Your salary goes up 3%. Your actual life goes up 9%. That gap, that's not a coincidence. That's a transfer of your wealth to someone else. Leak 3, the productivity scam. You are working measurably, provably harder than your parents did at your age, and your dollars are worth less. That's not a recession. That's the new architecture. And then I'm going to show you the one math-backed exit strategy that breaks this system. Not a side hustle listicle, not a cut your coffee budget tip. A structural counter move, the kind the system doesn't teach you because the system needs you not to know it. Stay with me. Let's do the math.
Let's talk about this single greatest wealth transfer of the last 15 years that nobody calls a wealth transfer. It's called the subscription economy, and it has quietly, surgically replaced ownership with what I call rentship. Here's the old math your parents understood. Buy a thing, own the thing has value, value compounds, you build wealth. Here's the 2026 math. Pay for access to the thing, every month, forever. Cancel, access gone. Value, 0. Equity, 0. You own nothing but the habit of paying. Let's build a real number, conservative, realistic. Subscription, Netflix, Hulu, Max, Spotify, $67. Adobe Creative Cloud, $60. Microsoft 365, $10. Cloud storage, iCloud, Google One, $10. Gym app, used twice a month, $15. Antivirus, VPN, password manager, $15. Total, $177. That's $177 a month just in software you used to buy once. Now add the big one, your car. In 2010, around 20% of vehicles released. In 2026, industry data puts that number past 35%. Why? Because manufacturers figured out what software companies figured out. Subscriptions are more profitable than sales. You pay more, over time, and you never build equity. Average car lease in 2026 is $612 a month. At the end of 36 months, you hand the keys back. 0 asset, 0 ownership. Just 36 months of payments that built someone else's balance sheet. And now, this is where it gets wild. They're doing it to appliances. Samsung, LG, they are piloting subscription tier refrigerators. John Deere already locks tractor features behind software payments. Your home heating system? Smart thermostats from certain brands are moving toward tiered access models. We are heading toward a world where you will rent the right to use things you physically possess. That is not hyperbole. That is the product roadmap. Because here's what the subscription model actually steals from you, and it's not the $177 a month. It's the compounding you never got. $177 a month invested from age 25 to 60 at a conservative 8% market return, $351,000. They didn't just charge you for software, they charged you for your future. And they charged you monthly so you'd never feel the full weight of the number. Now, I'm going to mention something here, an exit move that I'll come back to at the end. It involves a concept called ownership stocking. File that away, we'll get there. First, let's talk about the leak that makes this one look small.
This is the chart nobody shows you at your annual review. Your company gives you a raise.
3%, maybe 4% if you really pushed for it. They call it a cost of living adjustment. It is not keeping up with the cost of living. That is a marketing term for we're giving you less than you need, but it sounds generous. Let me show you the actual math of the last 3 years. Essential cost, cumulative increase since 2021. Rent, major metros, 30–40%. Car insurance, 52%. Groceries, 25+. Energy, electricity, 30+. Health insurance premium, family, now $25,000 per year. Now stack that against your wage growth. Essentials inflation, 9% per year, compounded. Salary growth, 3.5% per year. Your real wage growth, negative 5.5% per year. You're not staying even. You are falling behind every single year by the mathematical equivalent of a pay cut you never agreed to and never saw on a pay stub. Red pattern interrupt. Look at this number, $1,472. That is the average annual gap, the difference between what your essential costs actually rose and what your salary actually rose for a median income earner in the 25-34 bracket over the last 4 years. $11,472 per year. Gone. Not spent. Extracted. And here is the part that makes this a system rather than bad luck. The entities that set your rent, your insurance premiums, your energy rates, and your healthcare costs, they index to actual inflation. They protect their margins in real time. The entity that sets your salary reviews it once a year, anchors to a 3% standard, and calls it fair. The lag is not accidental. The lag is the business model. Now, I want to connect something. Remember Leak 1, the subscription prison? The reason it works is because of Leak 2. When your real spending power is shrinking by $11,000 a year, you stop making one-time purchases. You don't have the capital. So you rent access instead, which shrinks your capital further, which makes you rent more. This is the spiral. This is the math. And it feeds directly into the third leak, the one that's the most psychologically brutal.
Let's talk about your parents. 1985. Your dad, or someone's dad, gets a manufacturing job, a union job, a mid-level office job, high school diploma, or maybe a 2-year degree. Starting salary, $28,000. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $82,000 in 2026 dollars. He buys a house at 3x his annual income. He has a pension. His healthcare is covered at 90%. He retires at 62 with a defined benefit. Now you have a 4-year degree. You have $38,000 in student debt. That's the median. You get a good job, $68,000 a year. And you can afford a house at maybe 6 to 7x your annual income in a coastal market. Possibly 4x in the Midwest if you're lucky.
The U.S. worker productivity increase from 1979 to 2026 was plus 64%. Real wage increase for that same period, plus 17%. The gap was 47 points. You are producing more economic value than any generation of workers in history. You are being compensated for less of it than almost any generation since before World War II. That gap, 64% productivity, 17% wage growth, that difference went somewhere. Wait, it gets worse. Your generation didn't just inherit the wage gap. You inherited it plus a credential inflation crisis. The job that paid $28,000 in 1985 with a high school diploma, it now requires a bachelor's degree. The job that paid $45,000 with a bachelor's in 1995, it now wants 3 to 5 years experience plus a master's preferred. You paid more to get in the door. The door leads to the same room your parents stood in, except the floor is on fire and they called it an opportunity. And here's the psychological brutality of the productivity scam. They made it personal. If you're not getting ahead, it's because you didn't hustle enough, didn't level up enough, didn't network enough, didn't invest in yourself enough. The math says otherwise. The math says you are running faster on a treadmill that is moving backward. That is not a character flaw. That is a design feature. Now, you've heard 3 leaks, you've seen the math. Let's talk about the exit.
Earlier, I mentioned ownership stacking. Here's what it is, and here's why it's the structural countermove. The system profits when you access things. It breaks down when you own them because ownership produces residual value. Rentship produces zero. Ownership stacking is the practice of systematically converting recurring costs into owned assets, starting with the smallest, cheapest conversions first and using the freed cash flow to stack toward larger ones. The 3-step countermove. Step 1. Software audit and one-time replacement. Go through your subscription stock. Identify every piece of software that has a viable one-time purchase alternative. Affinity instead of Adobe. Plex instead of streaming subscriptions. Local storage instead of cloud subscriptions. This alone can free $100, $200 per month. That's $1,200, $2,400 a year. That's your first investment capital. Step 2. Asset over access. When your lease is up, buy used, not brand new. A 3-year-old car purchased outright or with a short loan stops the monthly equity drain, builds an asset. You eventually sell an asset. Step 3. The productivity gap capture. You are producing more value than you're being paid for. The question is, where does that surplus value go? If it goes into index funds, you become a partial owner of the system that's underpaying you. You participate in the profits you helped generate. This isn't radical. This is using the math against itself. Look, I'm not here to tell you that investing your latte money will solve a structural economic problem. It won't. The system needs policy-level fixing, and that's a longer fight. But here's what's true right now, today, at the individual level. The people who understand this math are making different decisions than the people who don't. Not perfect decisions, not rich overnight decisions, structurally different decisions that compound over time into actual freedom. That is the rebellion. Not loud, not viral, just math used correctly by people who refuse to stay asleep.
The system wins when you stay frustrated, stay distracted, and keep grinding without questioning the math. We win when we understand it. If this video made something click, if you looked at a number on your screen today and felt it land differently, then you're already doing what they don't want you to do. You're thinking structurally. We put out this kind of math every week on this channel. No fluff, no 5 tips to save money, just the real mechanics of what's happening to your financial life and how to counter it. Subscribe if you're done playing a rigged game. And if you want to go deeper right now, the next video breaks down exactly how to run a personal inflation audit on your own budget and find out what your real wage growth has been for the last 3 years. I'll warn you, the number is worse than you think.